Yes, Gemini, I did shuffle. I just finished basically Aries, and I said, okay, let's prepare this for Gemini. And I also got Rido, and I also got Truth coming through, like right out of the gate. But you also got humor, integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. But the best of all, and we are going through this Mercury retrograde. Rido shows up. It's that kind of like wheel of transportation. So we'll be talking about this rune of time and transportation and how this really fits in. But you're getting soulmates. That's kind of equivalent of the Lover's card of you. And I really can't wait to see it. Maybe you guys are connected with Aries. Kind of like take a look. Maybe you're simply going to have more energizing attitude and kind of like development this month. So let's start and let's see what is in store for you this last month. Another thing, guys, really quickly, this is going to be a challenge month. I really want to know you. I want to know who you are, and I'm just like voice here from Toronto, Canada, and I would like to know where you're from. And I do see stats, but that really never replaces, hey, you know, it's me, you know, I have been here and since then and you know, hello from Wisconsin, hello from California. I would really like if you can at least just like stop by and say hi. And if you're not a subscriber, please do. There are going to be changes in the next year, because I'll be actually making videos that are for subscribers only, and only you will be able to see them. So there are some kind of like benefits. Okay, so let's start. Hello Gemini, and let's kind of like have this last monthly date for 2018. I am so excited. This kind of like really sounds good to me. So needless to say, you're like Mercury child, Mercury retrograde, that might kind of like come in a way, but not in a way you expect. So let me start. Two of Swords reversed. So what do we see? We see a kitty walking tightrope. It's moonlight, so it's kind of like visibility is not there. Okay, you're all going to say, yay, they see in the dark cats. That's not true. They're actually dawn animals. They kind of like usually hunt before the dawn, where there is some light. Even though their eyes are actually almost like, I think, the same quality as owl, they are able to see in the pitch dark. But this is not really, they're not extremely nocturnal, right? So, but why would then the kitty walk with kind of like blindfold, right? I really think, especially you have a second two, and you have like this soulmate cardi, right, which is over here, but it's reversed. So this is really telling me there are different ways of knowing the truth, and given that your sign has like these two faces, right, each looking in a different direction, this kind of like really is giving me that kind of like flavor here. You know, even though they're like sort of like those different ways of knowing or perceiving or experiencing the truth, here, you know, no matter how you approach it, it's still the truth. You might actually feel the spirit that your mind is telling you one thing and your heart another, but they're not. They actually both wield the same sword, the same truth. You really need to look deeper, and you will see that your head and your heart are in agreement, and then you're going to be able to relax and take a next step. I do know that you are an air sign, and it is like really hard for us to get out of our head and kind of like figure out where we are going, but that's exactly what the reading is basically advising over here. So let's see what else. So there are two twos. It's that indecision, and it's very hard for you to reach kind of like and put the finger on something, and I think that's because you're feeling that you're either going to leave somebody in the past, or certain things are no longer going to happen. There is like this Mercury retrograde nostalgia. So let's see what's in the middle. There are like really lots of parallels with Aries over here, and it's kind of like that progressive energy. They are actually going to have regenerative energy kind of like coming up this month. So this is actually a really good comparison. Your central node is like something where you have worked really hard, and maybe something didn't come to you just like, you know, handout. Something really needed to be earned and deserved, and right now you know, many people want it, and many people all of a sudden do not want to give that appreciation of how hard it was to kind of like obtain that, whether this is a peace of mind, house, or a relationship, right? There's like possibly just like, I mean, you want to be maybe even be left alone, and everybody kind of like have their say. So the truth is like, look, it's only one winner in this situation, and you're kind of like really defending your turf. This is kind of like about spiritual rebellion, kind of, hey, I really think I know where I'm going, because look at the difference. Here it's kind of like fierceness, and here it is like, I'm not so sure. So I really think the confusion was kind of like almost like enveloping you, like some kind of like fog. But I really think this is also being born out of, as we said here, responsibility. It's also very interesting that we have the soulmate arriving twice, but this one is actually really not reversed. So I really think this is connecting with authenticity and truth, and this is also about authenticity, where, you know, you need to be true to what you want. Of course, pushing and pulling too much, there are extremes, but maybe you have changed, and maybe the other people that are around you are not welcoming that change, and they want you to be back to who you were, and you're saying, I don't think so. I'm never going to be the same. I now know what I want, and I'm not going to jeopardize that. This card is crossed with another 7. It's 7 reversed. It's kind of like you're actually at this stage feeling so certain that there are no other options. You really want to go in a certain direction. You almost like looks like zoom in on what you want, or maybe somebody just like didn't give you the ability to even have more options than one, and you're realizing, you know what, I'm actually good. I'm good exactly where I am, and I'm just like completely fine with this. So let's see what is like here in the root of your reading. You have like 3 of cups. I really actually like this card, not so much when it's reversed. I'm going to explain. When it's upright, we are seeing the kitties, and the author should learn that kitties do not eat grapes. In fact, they're actually really, really bad for them. But nonetheless, kitties are intrigued in anything that kind of dangles, and maybe this is just simply a game over here. And it's a kind of friendly game. It's kind of like, hey, it's 3 is merrier than 1. It's being very sociable. And I don't know who was the person who said that cats are not sociable. You have seen my Safian Matrix. They're like, just like, I mean, 2 together all the time. So this is kind of like this opening and that airy feeling, kind of friendly feeling, kind of, hey, let's do things. But somebody maybe had different plans, and maybe the fact they had different plans was literally what gave you no other option. You know, maybe you have been trying, hey, would you like this, would you like that, and they kept getting no and no and no, and like more and more doors were closing, and finally said, okay, so be it, kind of a thing. It could be also that you're feeling let down by a friend. This could mean that there are other people who were involved, that somebody kind of like didn't put you on a pedestal, and now kind of like it's maybe too late to kind of like, you know, it's kind of like spilled milk. Don't cry over spilled milk, kind of a thing. So let's see what basically happened in the past. And we have like this King of Pentacles. So I don't know if somebody was like really stubborn, or somebody was really insisting what they need, and kind of like really didn't see, or worse yet, they didn't care that you actually also have your needs over here. When King of Pentacles reverses, it's really telling me about a person who is not truthful. And remember, you have the Truth card over here. This person is always going to tell what is appropriate to him or her. It is somebody actually who are going to really play with our deepest insecurities. For example, let's say your biggest dream is to get married, and they're going to really harp on it. They're going to give you every indication that you're the one. So going to kind of let down your walls and go for it fully, and then they're just going to realize they've forgotten to tell you they're married. They've forgotten to tell you that we had somebody else. And it's kind of like a person who is willing to go that far to manipulate, knowing, or don't, like, I think it's even worse, not caring that this can be like really so important for you. Maybe you are going to be the best kind of like possible they're going to be the best possible person on the planet. The truth here is that you're getting this clear messaging that it's clear they're not the one, because you don't even know who that person was. You just know all this like sweet little lies that you really want to believe it's true. We all do, right? Nothing wrong about that. It's just like simply was the person who basically deserves despise, and who actually really wasn't there. And I can totally see humor here. Of course, you guys are always like very witty, and I think like you're probably really even finding some time to really laugh at yourself. Look at this clown with air balloons. And air balloons are really like something that you need to kind of like do and treat yourself with it, and just like poke them, pop them, and just realize that they were like as real as that balloon, and it's going to kind of like hit you. The sound of that pop is going to hit you. So I'm really sorry to see this, that this is like something that you have been going through, but I think this is really teaching you about what is really important. I really think you were looking at the action of the person, and it was really self-evident that this person was really not responsible, and this is why you're walking this tightrope. Like, it's no wonder that you couldn't make this decision, because they were telling you one thing and doing another thing. So this heart and basically mind, you felt, oh, I really want to be with this person, but he's not good or she's not good, right? Now your heart is telling you, hey Gemini, what the heck is wrong with you? You deserve better. You are like amazing. You kind of like shouldn't be subject to that, right? So let us see what is crowning you. And there it is, a karma card. We have like this amazing Egyptian kitty. It's justice. Justice card is always talking about, hey, this balance is now being established. Yes, it clearly tells me that you felt that you're on the receiving end, that you were getting a share of karma that you didn't deserve, that you didn't want. The truth is, actually you cleared something. Actually, you are like actually opening yourself up to something else. Being a karma card and being a sister card, because it's also governed by the air, it's really talking about this like huge universal balance. It's like you have a two, we have a two, we have a two. So this is kind of like telling us a story, right? That this balance is like no more like this big kind of like it doesn't take big adjustment. Like, things are actually there where they actually should be. And this whole thing was about you opening your eyes to something, removing that blindfold that maybe was blocking over here. So let's see what is immediately ahead of you. And here you have yet another struggle. So these two cards are like, I mean, my rambunctious kitties. So look at this. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Just like, I mean, I'm fine here where I am. But here it's like more of a play. Here it is like, you know, there is like a little mousey. Everybody wants a mousey, but everybody wants to kind of like show how important they are. And they're like forgetting, you know, how cats are. They're really never really hungry. They never hunt for hunger. And that's kind of like really bad part, where they get their basically prey and torture that prey, right? Here, actually, they're forgetting about the prey entirely. It's kind of like all about, hey, you know, I can jump higher, and look at me, look at this like big kind of like, I mean, to-do that I'm doing. So when this reverses, it's kind of like understanding that you have been going through some kind of like hoops and loops and trying to impress somebody and trying to do more and more and more. So the more they're like, I mean, kind of like stepping back, the more they were like kind of like giving you all these promises and they were not happening. Maybe you interpreted that, hey, you know what, maybe something about me, and this was there, so how did I lose that? Where is this door? You're knocking on all these different doors, trying different things and trying higher and higher. The truth is, it's not you, it's them, it's him, it's her. They are not there for you. They kind of like were never a friend. They kind of like seem to have this personality, and there are people like that who are very, you know, transactional. It just, they will be able to do and promise anything just to get what they want. You, on the other hand, you really thought, you know, maybe that they're the real one. Like, I mean, you value integrity, and it's clearly kind of like obviously air sign that kind of like does it. For you, this is way more important than money, right? This person valued money. What can you do for me? and maybe you were the love of their life, but maybe you don't come with that hefty bank account and somebody else does, and they are doing the switch, or they're like something more convenient. It is incomprehensible to you. You're not even able to think like that or do anything like that, but it is what it is. Some people are simply kind of like behaving this way. So let's see like your emotions, how you're going to process this entire thing. So you're having a 9 of Cups. It is reversed. So you're kind of like feeling that somehow that prize was taken away from you. Somehow that is like this excitement that you had, possibly about the chase, possibly about reaching that happy ever after kind of a thing, just like seems to be like, fizzled, because that kind of like thing, hey, but he was right. You need to understand that he or she did say lots of right things, but they really don't have ability to figure them out. Just think about it. If they're already with somebody, how would you feel if you are that someone, that somebody is doing that behind your back? And I know we all have been there. We heard all kinds of promises. You're the one, I have problems at home. Well, dude, if you're a man, and I'm sorry, I'm one of these people who actually do have this belief, like you need to be a woman, you need to be a man. To me, that really talks about this authenticity and integrity, meaning like, hey, you know what, don't pull wool over my eyes. Just tell me things as they are. And if you're with somebody, well, I can deal with that and I can make these decisions for myself. Because sure enough, they kind of like hook you, and the next thing you know, like nothing is really happening out of that, and things are kind of like snowballing at that stage. So let's see what is here in the environment and what kind of like is coming your way, because I see here some kind of like adjustment will be happening. It's all good. You're having a very strong major showing up here. So let's see what is like inside of your heart. Well, Temperance reversed technically is Gemini, because you're on the other side of that axis, but this because it was reversed, right? So this is clearly saying that something was not right to happen, something couldn't do. So this is yet another 5, and there's like basically an angel who is like making stars line up when it's in the upright situation. It really talks about patience, but I don't really think you have that patience, which kind of like Temperance is also in a sense kind of like ruling that spiritual journey, right? Just like Rido kind of like is very karmic rune, and it's kind of like represented with that wheel, which we have it in a wheel of fortune, kind of like that continuously spins and you never know where you're going to land. And because of that, it kind of like has this connotation of transportation and clock, face, time that is really kind of like happening, right? Because this is really talking about all kind of journeys. Sometimes understanding that this journey was a journey, even though it didn't kind of like have the ending that you wrote in your own story. I mean, for those of you who didn't watch La La Land, I highly advise. It's really unique journey that the couple had that is kind of like really beautifully explained in this movie. It makes you really scratch your head and think, and then you realize, this is actually supposed to be like that. It makes sense. Because here this is telling me that your environment is not necessarily vibrating with you. It's not vibrating because you're having lots of kind of like strife. There are like really things that are sort of like coming in your way, that could be people who are not either faithful or who are just like looking after their own interest. And you might feel, to be really honest with you, a little bit edgy, right? A little bit edgy. So in particular, keep cards close to your chest. Don't really give out everything that you're planning to do, because somebody can just grab your idea and run with it, or just do enough damage to kind of like really shake you up from the belief of that idea or the project is a great one and that's something that you really want to do. So kind of like you should really rely upon yourself, because I'm seeing here kind of like being pulled in here, understanding who you are and what you really need. So let's see your hopes and fears. And look at here, you have the High Priestess. If she's reversed, it's very interesting because she's a number 2, but if you really look at it, it looks like almost like Arabic number 11. So it's almost like twice. So you're getting that spiritual messages. So 2, 2, 2, and 2, 4 times. It cannot be a coincidence. And then we have 5, we have 5, and we have 5. So 2 and 5 together kind of like create 7s, which kind of like, again, we have 2 of them. So look at that, repetitions. When you see repetitions, they actually start creating patterns, and patterns start to create destiny, and destiny starts to create future. And this is clearly telling me that you're sort of like almost like on a brink of something, kind of like really wondering in which direction to go. The High Priestess really tells me that it could be disconnect with your intuition, and that's why there's like this big shall I not, should I not, right? Should I buy this, should I not? So my advice is like, when you are iffy, decide against it, because, and this is not the general rule, just this is rule for this month, because we're in a Mercury retrograde and you also got Rido. It's telling you kind of like keep things to your chest. Do not actually involve yourself in any kind of like debacles, any kind of like discussions, because you will lose. And you will not necessarily lose because you have lost the game. You're going to lose even if you win, kind of like one of those situations. And like, I don't want you to kind of be left scratching your head and wondering, what should I have done? How kind of like to kind of like move forward in this direction? Because you guys, you have like something very, very strong. It's almost like you have the star there, right? And if I tell you the star is there, then why you're going this way? This is like what you want. Like, never mind all of that crap everywhere. Leave that be. Like, who cares, kind of a thing, right? So even though you will not be able to kind of like get information just by observing people, this is the problem. You kind of like should rely upon what they show you and what they tell you, right? Because you might be getting all kinds of messages. Oh, I love you. Oh, I miss you. And everything will be changed. But you kind of like generally know, your air sign usually can pick it up. This month it will be hard. It will be hard because something will be kind of like presenting almost like fake picture. Remember, Temperance is reversed and the High Priestess is reversed. We'll be actually clarifying these major arcanas to see where this is really heading. So let's see, like, I mean, where and what we want in this month. There is another major arcana, and this is actually lovely. I really think that this tells me that you kind of like have a goal. You want a goal to, some of you, settle down. The Strength to me always talks about, yes, commitment, but it also talks about you kind of like exercising a better version of yourself. So whatever it is, you maybe are not as debating, as kind of like this devil's advocate, as I call my Gemini friends. Maybe you're going to just like be more agreeable, but this is not to kind of like lose any abilities to kind of be authentic, to be who you are. And really, I think it's going to be just like simply joking with people, simply kind of like applying humor to kind of like deflect the situation, make it softer. But also, I really feel you'll be able to find humor within yourself, because you'll say like, well, is it just me? I just like always find myself in the situation, and all of a sudden things are going to get really funny and different. And I know sometimes if you're in a full mood, it's nothing that makes you kind of like interesting, intriguing, but humor is very kind of like good prescription, and it's definitely something that I would really want you to kind of like look into that this month. Because when the Temperance reverses and it's coming up in Gemini reading, it's almost like you'll be observing a big mirror, meaning you'll be seeing lots of people coming toward you that you'll be integrating or dealing with this month, that they're going to actually mirror back certain aspects of yourself. You're not going to like it, and you're going to kind of like think it's them, but remember, they are actually showing you certain kind of like different aspects. It's like this funny mirrors kind of like place. So it is really definitely asking you to kind of like, hey, look at this. What do you think? This is kind of like how others see this. And it's going to start clicking in, kicking in, and things are going to start being better. So let's clarify a few things. This Justice card, and here, and actually it's funny, this card was also jumping out. We have this 8 of Cups and Daughter of Pentacles. So this is actually really lovely, and this is kind of like about, look, walking away. And as I said, somebody was really banking on that they have you under their foot, and they banked wrong. You kind of like are really feeling very determined to kind of like learn things and discover things and to move in a new direction. This is definitely a realization of you need something bigger and better, and you're not really jumping like from one frying pan to another, because the Daughter of Pentacles is slower moving entity, and it's something that really is beautiful. It's something that happens to those who wait, right? It's kind of like understanding that things have to kind of like really work on numerous levels. So I really think it's kind of like more pragmatic approach. Yes, sure, like this is not emotionally where you want to be, but hey, is this person a good provider, or is this person somebody that you will have a soft place to fall? You'll be actually going through lots of layers, kind of like thinking of that kind of like kind this particular month. So the next one I think was the Temperance reversed. So let's see what's the clarification here. Look, now you have Son of Pentacles, so we have both the Daughter and the Son. So, and the Fool. And the Fool is very much air energy, and it is like something new. It's kind of like leap of faith, going new direction. So the fact that stars didn't line up means they're going to line up elsewhere, means it's going to be somebody else, means that there is like somebody showing up this month. So if as long as you're being held back with these beliefs or wonders about this person, you're actually not going to be able to open yourself up to these new possibilities. This could be just somebody who is starting, like you see there's like a little book, and if you're going to basically adhere, it could be something innocent. It could be like that one partner is significantly younger than the other. That can also mean, but this is definitely telling me this is like being born on a really good kind of like ground. It's very much friendship, it's very much equality and understanding, and everybody's learning something. Like this person is getting from this person youthfulness and enthusiasm and eagerness to kind of like know more and to excel, and this person is getting that wisdom and, you know, like that slow and steady. It's all like mastery. The Fool is like to all giving this completely new beginning, so it's absolutely possible, and it's basically not going to be with a person that you really want it to, or it's not going to be in a way that you want to. Maybe it's going to be just simply, okay, let's backtrack, let's kind of like go back and figure out this kind of happening this way. So let's see this intuitive ability. Look at this, it's like Four of Pentacles and the Strength, and here's the Strength repeating, and it is because there's like some entanglement as we see it here, right? But Four of Pentacles also talks about erecting walls. Something has happened that somebody kind of like let you down, or, you know, they just like simply kind of like took a joy out of your life. You know, you have sometimes you have those miserable people around, and lots of miserable people around Christmas time, and there is a reason for that, because sometimes depression can be agitated depression, so people snap. So I'm expecting a whole bunch of like nasty comments. Hopefully your comment is going to be something sweet, I can use it. But also Strength in this deck is 11, and here is Justice in this particular deck, and here is like 8. So this is actually additional layer, right, that I'm seeing here. So you need to, in this particular period of time, almost like work on yourself. And I love rendition, a lion with the white rose. So it's again talking to me about a friendship. But are you a friend to yourself? Are you the one who is able to serve you, or you are always trying to kind of like deal with the situation at hand? Because this is really telling me that almost like you're going through, wading through waters of somebody else's behavior and their own actions, versus understanding that these walls that you erect are really preventing you of these good people coming through. So you guys are having this revolving doors, and there is like some level of really, really high level of maturity that is coming through. Like you need to make this decision, which is like anything but easy for you. And with this new decision, you kind of like are actually allowing somebody else to come in your life. And this time you're not compromising, not anybody, but everybody has to kind of like have the things that you want. They need to be willing to commit. They need to be willing to work on the relationship. And look, you have a Daughter of Cups. Oh my gosh, there's somebody coming, and Son of Wands. So there you go. There are going to be so many potentials, even with this past person. But I really think with them, you're going to keep it on the friendship level just to see if anything here can be repaired. But in the meantime, oh my gosh, there are going to be so many beautiful opportunities, right? There is like this action-oriented thing. So you have like the Son of Pentacles and Daughter of Pentacles. You have the Son of Wands and Daughter of Cups. So I really think by the end of the month, you're not going to even think about, oh, this King of Pentacles. You know, tell me, who the heck is this King of Pentacles? This person who is just doing everything as per recipe except showing who he or she really is. And now, look, you guys, you didn't get sucked in, and you guys are, it's just like here, look at this baby. Look at this baby. He's getting bigger and stronger, and it's getting energized. So this is a really, really combination. This really talks about somebody's love offer, somebody kind of like really chasing you, willing to go that extra mile, willing to date you, willing to kind of like say, hey, I love you, you babe are gorgeous. It's really going to be maybe scary because you have already heard and you know how that kind of like ended. But this one is authentic, and this one is somebody with whom you're going to talk about, hey, you know, who are you living with? You kind of like very more pragmatic things as you're seeing here, because you're no longer just going to blindly trust. And then somebody cannot call you in the evenings or on the weekends, and that's because there is somebody else, right? Remember, things are coming fully in balance, and there is like this commitment ready situation over here. So let's see. I'm leaving the best for the last, right? So this is really talking about, and look at this beautiful, almost like set pigeons. Gosh, penguins. There's like evolution and transformation within the companionship of others, and boy, there'll be lots of companions, right? So you need to remember that certain people enter into your life in order to take you to the next level of healing and consciousness and authenticity, right? It's always reciprocal experience because you did have a karma card, so it's kind of like something that is kind of like leaving effect. And you notice people by this kind of like strong pull kind of like toward you, kind of like there's this draw, right? Soulmates are one thing, but this is kind of like friends for life. And I really think you're looking at this like different aspects of what this is for you. You now want more. You want these people to be there for you. You want them to come through for you. You want these people in your life to be your greatest gifts, that you can count on them. You know, to me, definition of a friend is somebody who is going to drag themselves out of bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning while it's cold and icy, and then have to clean the car and kind of like make it to get you. That's the friend. The one who is not friend, not a good time, not pick up the phone, etc. So you need to consider love in the deepest sense. That is like kind of like so powerful that it changes you forever, so much that you're never going to be the same, right? And it's like, it doesn't really matter even how long your relationship lasts, because you have just changed, almost like you're giving this like new electrical system on your body. So consider these friendships and romantic bonds that you're going to have a plentiful this month, kind of like so compelling that you guys are going to be overwhelmed with gratitude, with that integrity, responsibility. You're going to almost like feel, oh my gosh, you know, like I better not mess with this, because then I'm going to be just like what I was like blaming these people for, right? I think you also, some of you might even have an animal or a spirit animal to kind of remind you that it's actually you who is being rescued and healed. You kind of like did feel a little bit injured. You have been in this kind of like egg, in this protective core, but now it's time to kind of like knock on it, break through, and fly away. You are, guys, attracting somebody who is the right, somebody who is going to come and guide you home to the real you, somebody who is kind of like be really, really important. And it's going to be a kind of relationship that kind of like brings you down to your knees, and kind of a soulmate that comes with a powerful gift. And trust me, you will know that. You will know that when it happens. You just need to be true to yourself. You shouldn't just go for somebody just because, you know, you feel they have changed. No, some people didn't change, and if you need to give somebody a second chance, then make sure that second chance kind of like goes really, really slow, because players will not stick around, right? Players would just simply evaporate after a really short period of time. Also, Gemini, it's a Gemini challenge this month. Not just Gemini, it's all signs challenge, but for you in particular, because it's Mercury retrograde, and I really want to hear from you. I always am the one to talk, and I would like to hear what you have to say. I would like to hear where you're from, just like kind of like meet and greet this month, and that way we can kind of like start 2019 with much better kind of like communication and vision and understanding. And you have no idea how much this really means to you, and I really hope that you can grant me my Christmas wish. And if you want a private reading with me, you can reach me via cattarot.ca, and please support the channel and order annual taroscopes. They're like still on the pre-order price, $19.95 for one sign or $39.95 for all. So that's the Gemini. So I dare you to make a comment, and you know that I love you. So until the next time, have a wonderful December.